trying to get a run towards the inside. Uncommon James and Asfura up to Zoo Style. It's kicking Uncommon James in the middle. Uncommon James grabs Asfura. Uncommon James holding on and won the Oakley Plate.
Welcome to Bet Doctor Behind the Curtain. Look at how pro punters operate. I'm your host, Scoot. I'm up and about today. I've had my whiz fizz. Johnny Walter, you got the bottle there. You can have a nice suck on that to get yourself revved up.
It's not quite a dummy, but I'm ready to spit it. So here it is.
Looking fresh. You're in the golf shirt. You left me out. You going to have a hit of golf?
Mate, it's a secret squirrel. It's a secret squirrel. I'm getting ready out wide. You're not supposed to know about it, see? I didn't think you put one and one together. I didn't think you were capable. So.
Augusta, you ready?
Yeah, going to try and pre-qualify for sure. No, it should be. What's that? 3 weeks till I leave. You leave a little bit late. I know you're going via Asia.
You're you're going in a little bit of a 10-pin bowling tournament over in America. Big cash.
Well, what about the one this weekend? I forgot I signed up for. So it's 7 p.m. check-in, 7:30 kick-off Saturday. So we get up at like 4 o'clock in the morning to do the form. Then Saturday, as we're about to talk about, goes for about 37 hours. 7:30 p.m., 12 games, 2-hour drive away. I'll be fresh on Saturday.
Where's that?
Caboolture, wherever that is. Queensland Open or something. But no, I'm trying to, it's the bowling thing over there. We'll see if we can try and pre-qualify for a tournament or something. See. Once upon a time, Tristan would have sponsored me, but now that he hates me, we don't get that. We could have been the TopSport bowling tour, Australian bowling tour.
Wonder if DK's been to Caboolture. How are you, DK? On his bender, he might have gone there.
Oh, yeah, I'm just coming good now, Scoot. Was it you? Who said, I think you might be too old for that sort of business, DK, last week? Yeah. I think you did, and I think I have to agree with you. Was it 4 days later, like when you get older, geez, big nights knock you around when you get older, and I went back to back. So it was, it was all day Friday, and I did a runner at like 11:30 because I knew I had Saturday night on. So I did a runner at like 11:30 after. We went to the Junction Hotel after Moonee Valley, and then Saturday night was Crown. I got home at like 3 a.m. or something, and wisely put myself down for the 10 a.m. to midday slot on the Bunnings barbecue for the footy club, Nico. That was good. So I was mortally wounded there, and then my missus had to drop me off. No way I could have driven there, and then I had to come home for a quick nap, and there was bloody footy clinics on at the footy club from 3 o'clock to 4:30. So, I was supposed to be spectating. The bloke said, "Can you help?" So, mate, I was in bed early.
What was your job at the barbecue? Were you the...
No, I'm the it's a well-oiled machine.
Cut the onions, or
no, it's already done. They're already done. No, I big job, mate. I get the sausage out of the thing and put it on the bread, and then I get the onions, and if they want onions, I put it on top. Do that for 2 hours. Very important, mate. It's a very, very well-oiled machine. The Bunnings Barbecue. They're a very good fundraiser for the footy club, actually. You can make a bit of coin out of them, sell like 100 kilos of sausages. It's unbelievable. They just fly out the door. But anyway, so I'm coming good, Scoot. But yeah, my bender days might be, or the back-to-back anyway, might be over.
What about Baby Cats? Did you make an appearance there?
Where?
Baby Cats, Cecil Street.
No. We went to the Groove Bar. And I did at 2:30. Well, by the time I looked at my watch, it was like 20 past 2 or something. So, I was delirious. I had me full of beer and... So it was beer all day Friday.
Yeah.
Friday night, got to Moonee Valley. You know those, I'll tell you what I did find, Scoot, was those Suntory things. Those 6%ers in those cans. They're beauty. So I was on them. So I'd had enough beer. So Saturday night, I was into the bubbles and then into the red. So I drank red. And then that ended well. Having red all night. But anyway.
6% 196 Suntory cans.
That's them.
Yeah,
that's
the
them.
Lemon flavour. That's the only flavour.
I'm tipping them. They were good.
Yeah, don't try anything else that you can sit on. They're sessionable. They're outstanding. Nick, I tell you what, you're going as good as the 196 cans. The Oakley plate, I got a message from a massive punter that he was very chuffed that you set a big play on Uncommon James and Lofty in the Oakley plate. And I thought it was pretty impressive display yesterday as well. Sandown was like quicksand. It's like the Sahara Desert. If you were 3 to 5 off in the straight, you just couldn't make any ground. What a hot rail that was.
Yeah, yesterday was interesting racing with the rail, as you said, being pretty hot. But it was a tough day until race 9 on Saturday. We were down and out, but luckily we got out there in the last. And Lofty Strike, he come on huge leaps and bounds in the yard. He just improved out of sight, really. He was like looking at a different horse. And I think he was probably a better run than Uncommon James. He just had to do way too much work to get into the race. He was out of the cart. But I was happy they were 1-2. Probably should have played the Quinella in hindsight, but you live and you learn.
What, you just looking stunned mullet? What?
Yeah, 5 days later, so dirty didn't play the Quinella. That'll do me.
Oh, what about you? What about
That'll
you,
do me.
Walty?
He would have jerked off a pigeon before the race to get a result. Now he's worried that he didn't bloody
jerked off.
Now he didn't bloody didn't take the Quinella. That'll do me. And neither of them had blue colours. So like that's he's bucked the trend. My blue colours were sitting 6 wide, no cover out there like a pigeon.
Hopefully he's rinsed himself of that blue.
Yeah, the
love
blue
story.
rinse.
What about you, Walt? Sunshine in Paris just poked a little nose out, little winksy.
Could have done it at the start before, couldn't it?
It's always right.
Told you should have ridden it a pair further back, like you did last start. But yeah, geez, she's a good horse. You'd hope she pushes it away now, puts it away like it's done its job, and comes back because it could be a weight for age horse next time in. But yeah, probably they'll push on and
Kill it.
what can you do? What can you do?
What about Profondo? Surely gets life now, doesn't he?
I think it gave itself life, didn't it? I did say, well, I think it gave life to its a set of nuggets between its legs, either one way or the other. You'll either never see Profondo again on a racetrack or you won't see his nuts. It'll be one of the two.
I'm Thunderstruck non-winner. That's what we spoke about on last week's show. I thought it was still an okay run. Not okay if you've backed him. I'd say ride him off at your peril, or does he need 2,000, or is the All-Star Mile with all that speed in the race, is it just going to pan out perfectly and he'll get his justice in that race?
I think you hit the nail on the head in the last one there, Scoot. A bit of tempo is his key. You know, he just wants a bit. If you ever look at his form, his best races when he's got some tempo on, and he can use a bit of strength. He hasn't got. I mean, Mr. Brightside's got a very good turn of foot, particularly of a slow pace. So we've seen that when he won that Fiend or whatever he won, Nico.
Yeah.
And look, he's gone terrific. The winner. Like, with due respect to Walt's man, Tim Clark, B. Shin has got that horse to go terrific. Like, he's a world-class rider, B. Shin, and we've noticed he's very good on pace down here. And just looking at the sections and things like that, he's got that horse to go really well. What do you think?
Yeah, I think like Alligator Blood's the horse to beat in the All-Star Mile, but if you're going to get, this media train that's just going to keep pushing out the price of Thunderstruck, taking him on, and everyone saying he's gone, like you're probably going to get $6 or $7 in the day, and he's going to be way better suited at a mile in a fast run race. Moonee Valley's no worry for him. He nearly won the Cox Plate. He beat Tavolu one day there as a younger horse. I just don't think he come on as much as, say, Mr. Brightside in between runs. I think he was probably at a very similar fitness level to, say, first up, whereas Mr. Brightside really looked like he come on. So the way I've sort of assessed Thunderstruck from the yard is he's really going to peak sort of third or fourth up, whereas I would say Mr. Brightside was pretty much near his top there on Saturday, and Alligator Blood was probably going to peak on All-Star Mile Day as well. They did a fair bit of work to sort of get him up and fit and going, and he just had the perfect run in the race. So it's probably a 2-horse race between Alligator Blood and I'm Thunderstruck. I think Mr. Brightside's probably a half chance, but I think I'm Thunderstruck's a big improver. And you just got to look at his SPs. Like, he SP'd favourite first up. He SP'd, 350, I think, on Saturday. Like, the market's not against him. He just needs probably a few things in his favour at that level, and I think you'll probably get that All-Star Mile Day. I'd love to see Zara back on, to be honest.
I'd just love to see him ridden cold. I think he's just a Goldilocks horse. He just needs everything, as DK mentioned on last week's show, to go his way. He needs an outside draw. He needs to be ridden cold, and it's probably going to be a perfect storm if he gets that wide draw. All-Star Mile Day. Walt, I can hear you grinding your teeth in my headphones.
No, I'm just wondering if...
Is DK trying to wind you up there with B. Shin, T. Clark, Niggle?
Whatever. He was all he's handed the race, but I was just wondering if old Wrinkle was ever going to actually not give that Mr. Brightside a barrier trial. Like, I laughed when he saw his post-race interview where he said, guys, this horse is flying. Well, it's pretty easy to work that out because you absolutely destroyed it at both starts back, handed back the 2 chances it's probably got to win a race this prep, and it should be peaking on the day where it's got none. It should be beautiful. Well done, the Wrinkle.
You wish sometimes jockeys had just put themselves in. I can't remember if it was this show or a syndicate tip that C Ripple and Wilson Taylor slaughtered it, and then he absolutely slaughtered the horse again yesterday. He nearly shat his pants when might have been Maloney or someone circled him on C Ripple.
It was a good
and
ride,
the horse
but
was just good enough to overcome.
He was asleep. What are you doing?
Jesus,
what are you doing? You've been, and he was 4 wide, no cover the first 400, going to sit there, and somehow they all let him in. It was act of God that he lobbed in the spot, and then he just fell asleep in there. He was like he was hypnotised. How did it win?
We just need more jockey honesty. It's okay to come out and just say, I slaughtered that.
And the Wrinkle's the best. The best. Like, you'd come in, you'd be there ready to deck him, and you'd come out buying him flowers. He's just the best. But, Yeah, he's poor old Mr. Brightside, hasn't it, Mr.
I've
Boat?
got a few in Tassie recently. This is my favourite, when they ride a horse every single start and it lays in every single start, but they decide, I'm going to keep the whip in the right hand,
Oh, geez, that
give it a
pisses
crack in
me
the
off.
right, and then I'm going to change it once it lays in. It does it every run. Why don't you start in the left?
Why doesn't the trainer tell them? Why doesn't the trainer tell them?
You'd think if they ride it every start,
Oh, they're right. Sorry, yeah, I hate.
they'd have
Yeah,
someone.
sorry, you're right about. Sorry, but I've seen with the change of rider when that happens, and then the horse lays in every start.
You can never take for granted that a jockey remembers anything. Like I agree with Deke, even if he was you've got to tell them, because they ride so many bloody horses. They don't really care about a lot of them for mine, and you've got to bloody stand over him a little bit.
So it's a jockey change of jockey. The jockey hasn't watched the tape, and the trainer hasn't told him to have the whip in the left. This thing lays in like it cost me. A few months ago, it cost me an absolute stack.
Little shout out to D. Perez for ruining everyone's Launceston Cup day. I tell you, he's a bogey man at big odds. Here's other news. Quickly, Morphettville redevelopment 5 years away. Spoke to Bagman offline. Sounds like this is welcome news in SA. Nice little refurb in Adelaide. So, and I heard,
Would there be racing in Adelaide in 5 years? What are they getting it ready for?
I don't think it had anything to do with racing. It's just developing the land in between the empty land around the track, like they do in a Caulfield and Moonee Valley. He said that's the $350 million development, building the townhouses and putting the supermarket in and whatever. And it said, if there's anything left over, which the profit they make, we're going to tip it into our irrigation system on the track and upgrade the maintenance facilities for the staff who do the maintenance on the track, because the track's the most important thing. Never said anything about new grandstand, anything about new facilities, new stables, nothing. So
well, the stables are gone, aren't they?
well, there's no on-course stables. They're all off-course there, and then they'll be kicking them out like they've done be at Caulfield and everything. So they go to Cranberry and go to Murray Bridge or something. But I had a read of that. It's good. I thought, because you go to the races there. It's like going to the races in the 1960s, the 70s. That grandstand. It's 45 years old. It's like a step back in time. So the first thing you say, be like Flemington, build a new grandstand. There's no mention of anything like that. Nothing. So I don't know where the money's going to benefit them. It's got to be poured back in the club somewhere. But then they said, we're going to upgrade the irrigation system because that costs a fortune. So anyway.
I reckon Adelaide could be the kids' sport of Australia. Under 12s, they could start playing for ribbons, and results don't matter, and no one records it. You can't videotape the game just in case Mr. Brightside gets upset that he was ridden poor, or that could be Adelaide. Adelaide could be the one that no one cares about.
well, I tell you what, they got to do something. So they need a cash injection, and I must have read that or took that the wrong way, and maybe I've got a little bit more faith. But it sounds like it's not all negative stuff. But anyway, I guess time will tell, and it's 5+ years away anyway. But it's definitely a head scratcher for a couple of people that own property off course nearby, and if they're going to get any subsidies or anything for being pushed to move.
Sorry, Scott, it's 7.5 hectares or acres or whatever it is. And then 1.5, it was 9. The other 1.5 belongs to Magic Millions, Jerry Harvey. It's where the Magic Millions, where they have, one sale a year for 2 days. So he flew, they got him over there, took him out for Chinese with the developers and listened to their proposal and things like that. And he said, it must have been too good, because he said, no, I'm not blind. I'm holding on to it. I'll hold on to that land, thanks. So ideally they would have been even bigger, but so it must have been a big spoil what they were offering him.
Interesting. All right, the Comics Lounge, if you want to giggle, home and comedy. We mentioned last week, Friendly Geordies, probably sold out already, but make sure you get around those guys. The Comics Lounge on board as a sponsor this year, if you've just tuned in, but they've been with us for a while now. Today's show is going to be a beauty. Donnie, Newcastle Friday. Was it Newcastle Stakes?
Oh, how would you know? They rename them, they move them.
It's confusing, but there's a good little race popped up with Crosstalk favourite there. So Donnie's going to tip us one early for some Friday Newcastle mail, and he's got Bris Vegas. Smashed last week his tips. They usually all go off, which is beautiful if you can catch them early enough. Randwick this week before we head to Rose Hill. It is, someone mentioned that in your chat group the other day, it is a little bit funny where you've
Not
got
funny, it's stupid.
all these lead-ups at Randwick, and then they get to 1,200, and then all of a sudden they flip across to Rose Hill for a 1,200-metre race, which is just completely different track profile.
Yeah, it just makes no sense. It makes absolutely no sense. It's nothing to do. The product's not the priority.
What is it? What is it then? What are they trying to do? They don't know, do they?
Prize money, and I don't know.
It's weird, isn't it?
Dances.
Nico Flemington on Saturday looks absolutely outstanding. TopSport Steamers, no good last week, but these bets today look exciting. I think they'll get a winner this week for sure. Make sure you bet with TopSport, family owned and operated. Check out their app and mobile. It's as good as anyone in their game. It's even got that facial recognition and the thumbprint and stuff, so it's easy to sign in. You could probably have a bet in any sort of
that's
state.
big.
Nico, first one we're going to have a look at is race number 5. Some tricky races, treacherous races, I would have thought, to start the Flemington card, so make sure you get his Mounting Yard mail. But race 5 is the first one here, and it's a horse that Walty knows, the Kettle Hill. Sydney side are coming down. Mar Eustace, $3.40 favourite. Munamek still going around. Must be getting dizzy, this horse. $5 on a Shelby. $5 Sparkle, 7 Queen Air, $8 Worthily, 11 Carlisle. Love to own this boy. G puts in $15 Ramble Rebel, $19 Herman Hess, 26 and 60s or better, the last 2 in the market. Kettle Hill, 1800. It's last start, Nico here in a benchmark 78. Tell us why you like this one, stepping back from 18 to 1600.
Well, I'm not in love with it, but no, I think if he runs up to these sort of performances he's been running in Sydney, he's back on the fence here with J-Mac in the Australian Bloodstock and doesn't get a whole lot of luck. I don't think he would have necessarily won the race, but I think he definitely would have been in the finish. And I just think the form he's in at the moment, coming down to Melbourne's probably a bit of a step back in grade relative to this form. Like 3 starts ago, he chased Banjou, started $2.90 and hit the line well enough in a race that probably wasn't run to suit him. The first up run in Melbourne was very good, where he was sort of 8 into $5.50 and was very unlucky not to win. Maybe that's the key to him, getting back to Melbourne, gets Jamie Carr going aboard here, draws an inside gate, and he drops in the weight. His first up run in Melbourne, he carried 54. Ever since he's carried 59, now he gets back down to 55.5. In a race where there's no superstars, Muhamek's racing well, but he might have to go back from the draw, and he's got to give him weight as well, and he's been sort of up forever. I'm a Shelby's just a consistent horse. I don't think he's much better than this grade. This is probably his level, and then it's like, where else do you go?
Well, I'll see a very interesting runner here.
Who?
Oh, his old Uncle Lindsay had a couple too much red wines when he thought about accepting. Was it the 3-year-old filly in the benchmark 88? Oh, it must be some sort of clean-up for sort of something to fit in because he can't get in anywhere else, so there's not a suitable race on the calendar. She's a 3-year-old filly against the old 7-year-old geldings. He gets a kilo off him. Like, it's been some very interesting placement for old Uncle Lindsay.
Yeah, the only thing that would make sense to me if they were going to maybe the Alistair Clark, and they want to run, because there's a 1,600 metre 3-year-old fillies race next week, I'm pretty sure.
The week after. Which this
the
is
CUNY.
Yeah.
So whether they want to get her out and trip earlier and maybe take on the boys in the Alistair Clark might be the play there, but I couldn't imagine she's in the race off her sort of first up or her last start run. She is third up, but that form looks a bit suspect for the older horses. So yeah, it's a bit of a hateful tip, but I think Kettle Hill definitely gets his chance here on Saturday. I probably wouldn't take $3.30, maybe closer to $4 you might get on the day, but I found it a really hard program just to sort of label a bet, and I thought he might be one that it's a bit of D-Day and gets everything in his favour.
Yeah, I had a quick squiz at this race, and I just got greyed up. I started to think that a horse like Herman Hess or even Long Arm were knockout at big odds, so I haven't had a bet, didn't pull the trigger, and I'm scared. So I'll blindly follow you, Nico, and hope you get it right.
It wouldn't take $3.40, but I think on the day we might get closer to $4, which is probably a fair price, Kettle Hill.
Jesus, it's just scary. Well, what do you?
It looks like a house of pain, that race to me. I'll be cheering for Nico.
Is it a lick of the quaddy or not? Is it not?
Thank Christ.
Okay. So we don't. We've got to get 10 Scoots, 10 picks. Make sure we do that when that's a lick of the quaddy, because that's what the punters want. We've got feedback this week.
Oh, we did too.
We want Scoots. We want Scoots 10 numbers. Like last week, I potted in for it, but the punters wanted it. I said, "Shut up, there you go. We want all Scoots
10
numbers
in each leg,
because very important part of the show."
So 10 by 10 by 10 by 10. What's that? That's a
well,
lot.
we got a bit of feedback.
10,000.
We usually just try and give our best bet so the punters can
So
try
if you
and
do
win.
the Davo thing and you spend 100 on your 10,000, you get 0.1% or something. That'd be all right. At least you get a collect. That's again participation, mate. A participation.
Oh, that's only one person. So can everyone ask us if they want more quaddy leg tips? Because that's just one guy's opinion. Would you rather our best
Who's the
bets
guy?
or just do our quaddy legs only?
Who's the guy?
Probably Dave. It was probably Davo.
If it was Davo, then it's gospel. Gospel. Put it on the 12th. It's the 13th commandment.
All right, let's talk about a quaddy leg, and that's probably the feature race of the day. and it's race number 7. It's the Group 1 Australian Guineas. And this, we're not going to talk about the politics of racing, but to have 2 Guineas, same distance in 2 different states, just shows how fractured Australian racing is. Jack and I,
Well, at least
favourite for the Melbourne
you can
edition.
question whether both favourites are going to run the mile 63 times. So that gives you 2 different chances to do it. Like an AK-47.
I might put a poll out to just get the New South Wales and Vic punters in a tailspin. I think maybe the Melbourne one's stronger than the Sydney one this year.
No.
I know you'd say, that was obviously.
Oh, well, there's one good horse in either race, Jack and O.
$2.15 favourite Jack and O, elliptical $6, attrition $8, Legato $9.50, Amenable $13, Holy Man's $18, Mr. Maestro $20 on the back up, Elkington Road $26, Maximilius $26, A Fortune Teller $31, Bankmore, they've forgotten about this horse, $31, Muramasa $51, Virtual Circle $61, and Lace Up Hill $61, and then Japanese Emperor, it's probably a big price as well, $101, but it's either the favourite or a bit of a puzzle here. Nico, we'll go have a look.
Does attrition running down there?
Yeah, I think he'll run down here. The plan early was to run him, and then they thought they wouldn't get in. So that's obviously why they've accepted it in Sydney. I would say he's probably staying in Melbourne then, given he's got a run.
Could be an error. Jack and O, let's have a look at the replay here. He finds Gentleman Roy. They have a bit of a bumping duel, and it's amazing. This protest gets upheld. Nico?
The more I watch it, the more I probably agree with it. I think he definitely impacted him late. You look at him coming, he's the fastest last 200 metres of this race. And I think that the bumps here, and I think it does sort of take him off balance. Lane can't really hit the horse late. So either way, he's not agreeing, DK.
I thought Mr. Brightside looked to be... Anyway, no, I don't know. Maybe it was the last ran the fastest last 200, did he?
Jack and O did, yeah. So I think he's the class horse in the race. I think he's probably the best 3-year-old. He's proved that. He's beat the older horses. He ran a huge race in the Everest. He beat In Secret in the Golden Rose. His 2 runs at 1,400 metres. He's been the quickest home in the race, the fastest last 200. That's against the weight for age horse. I know he had 55.5, but still. I think that's a good lead. That's if you're just doing form on any horse, stepping up in distance, you'd want them to run the fastest last 200 to say they might run out a strong mile. He's got no favours from the draw, but at the end of the day, he is the class horse. I kind of got it down between him and Elliptical. I think Elliptical, the market might come for him on the day. I think $6 is probably a touch of overs. He probably should be closer to sort of 5 or 480. Just with the map, he's just going to get a lovely run in behind the speed. And that's the thing, how big a head start Jackano is going to have to give Elliptical. I think Jackano's a better horse, just whether he has the best setup on this day. 215's getting pretty skinny. I think he might get back out to say sort of 240, 250. So I wouldn't be backing him now, but I think he's the best horse in the race, and I think he will run a mile. So the other advantage for him here is it probably doesn't look like they're going to go overly hard. There's not a whole lot of speed in the race. Can be a race where they really overdo it up in front, but I would say this year might just be a moderately run Australian Guineas, and if that is the case, the best horse probably can get over the top, even if he is a slight question mark at this distance. So, yeah, I thought it was pretty simple. I thought probably it's 1-2. They're probably the only proper Group 1 horses in the field, I think. Attrition's got talent. Legato, she's the X-Factor runner, bringing in the Kiwi form, but she's been up a long time. Her worst run was probably last start. I know she had some excuses, but I would have liked her to find the line a bit better, especially taking on Jackano and Elliptical. So I was kind of against her. So I thought Amenable might be the bit of the knockout chance just with the soft run from one. But yeah, Jackano to beat Elliptical. I don't think there should be as much between him in the market. I'd probably, if I had to have a bet, I'd back Elliptical. But I think Jackano is probably the most likely winner.
Why don't we show the Spring Champion just to bring those memories back?
Go away, Walt. You get to talk about
the Guineas? What about the Guineas? Bring those memories back.
Right.
Here's Bankmore looming up. Scooty's on Elkington Road, not getting a clear run. Should have been off and gone there. And then you got Elliptical roaring on the outside. And then you've got Attrition sort of laying in all over, what is it, Virtuous Circle or whatever. And he only just gets wound up late. That was your tip last time, wasn't it, Nico?
Yeah, I think we had him top from the mounting yard, mainly because of the fact I didn't think Elliptical was like near his top from a fitness point of view, and for him to come out and beat him first up and being underdone, I think those horses are probably going to have a bit of a task trying to turn the tables on him. And the best of Elliptical I think is very good. We saw that second in the Spring Champion. I think Sharp and Smart's up there with the best 3-year-olds we've got. And I think in time will be a weight for age horse. And I think Elliptical could be a weight for age horse next season as well. So this could be the last time we see Jacquino if he wins. So maybe they'll send him off a winner.
Well, what do you reckon? I think you're right, Nico. If they go too slow, that's Jacquino's best possible chance to win this race.
Especially where Elliptical's drawn, because slow run race with it backing on the inside is going to be potentially ugly too.
Chopper rescue.
Yeah, I think Elliptical's the best miler, but could be wrong. He was strong, like it was his second fastest last 200 of the day he won the Golden Rose in the wrong part of the track over 1400. So it's pretty tough to say that he won't run a mile. Jacquino, if he does, he'll be in the finish, but I'm dead set with Nico, as in, like, if you're going to have $100 on something, it's going to be on Elliptical just at the price, but there's not much between them.
It's an interesting one. DK, just to correct, he definitely ran that fast last 200. I just had a quick look on puntingform.com.au.
Yeah, that's where the eyes deceive you, doesn't it? Like, Mr. Brightside looked to be hooning there and sit and, be a few links off him and pull it back. But anyway, the eyes were deceiving.
It was 0.12, so we're splitting
It was just
hairs
a wrinkle
here.
conserving. It was just his first little blowout. He was just conserving.
I reckon attrition will run well. He was going sideways from the 400 there. It's pretty hard to get home like a steam train when you're going left all the way up the straight. So I love Jay Fry, but that is a rider upgrade for mine, Jay Carr. So
and that's the thing with attrition, isn't it? Like, there's a lot of talent there.
He's raw.
No doubt he's got a lot of ability. It's just whether
he can put it all together.
Whether Saturday is his day.
Yeah, so Jay Carr, she might get him to go,
Yeah.
as I say. But so if he runs straight, anyway, but I think he'll run well.
I agree. I think attrition and elliptical would be a great way to play that race if you want to take on the favourite. But outside that, deep as we just referenced Punting Form, they're doing a major upgrade on their database. It still works. You can use the old one, old.puntingform.com.au, if you're sort of rusted on and you're a fossil like myself. But it's starting to come along, and they've got these virtual speed maps where you turn it all around and move it, and it's going to be an absolute beauty. It's very bright. It's a very good system,
and it is a complete must-have at the moment if you want sectional times on Victorian provincial racing, because I don't know what's happened in at Kremlin.com, but it's turned to shit. Now I don't know if Vince has pulled the pin on him or what, but since the 5th of February, there's not been one sectional time for provincial racing of Victoria on the website. I've emailed them twice. And they've got back to me the first time, said, we're looking at it, the IT team's on it. Second time, they said, the IT team's still onto it. And please note, they will still be provided, which seems like this must be having some sort of, that said to me, they're having some issue with Vince. So, or whoever's providing the sectionals, which I think it's Vince, but could be someone else. But maybe they should get Punting Form on board so we've got reliable sectionals all the time.
Gee, there's one at odds. Bit of a fallout with Vince.
Well, I'm just guessing that because they threw it in the replying email to me. So, they're saying, don't worry, sectional times still will be provided. And I said, what's going on? Why is the website? Because sometimes, whoever's up first or fast, I having a squeeze there, even though I use Punting Form 90% of the time. Sometimes if there's an iffy one, I just I'll double check that. Like, for instance, that one Jacquino there, so I double check. But, so you definitely need Punting Form at the moment if you want to be one sectional times on Victorian racing.
All right, well, I'd have to fire off a little tweet to Matty Welsh and see if he can get that one sorted.
It's not Matty Welsh, Sam Lyons. I said to Sam Lyons at the Betfair function, I said, what's going on with the sectional times in your joint? And he had no idea, no idea what I was talking about. So who knows?
Now, they need to focus on punters a little bit more, don't they?
We're paying for it. We're not driving it. We're definitely not driving it. We're paying for it.
We're in the passenger seat.
Yeah. We're in the boot, mate. We're in the boot.
Pop tax is about to increase everywhere, so it's all going beautifully. Oh yeah, pop tax all about to go up, and
rope and gag, we're in the boot.
Here we are, at best.
When you said those celebrities do like a hot lap with one of the F1 drivers or something, and they're just absolutely dacking themselves. We're in that.
We're in the hot seat without a belt. Yeah, no helmet. That's right. Just in the roll cage.
We'll be Peter Falconio soon. We'll be everyone will just go miss him. We'll all be dead without a race. Race 2, the Todman. Let's talk about Randwick. Is it raining in Randwick? Sydney? What's happening in Sydney? I've got no idea.
Does anyone know? No, it's all right. I think there was like 1 to 5 mil, 50% chance or something. Should be fine. Hopefully it stops them watering it again.
So it could be a rainbow, not 0 to 4 mil, and then a sprinkle, maybe overnight.
Yeah, we just don't want them watering the track, and then we'll be okay. 6 metres.
Okay. Todman, 1,200. The Colts here, red resistance favourite at topsport.com.au. 180, cylinder $2.90. Thank you, Nash. Speaking of Nash, Cafe Millennium now. He jumps on board. $7. Empire Japan, $13. And then Militarized, little Wallace Sneaky here, $26. Let's start. Let's roll the tapes. Let's have a couple of.
I think they should rename this the Glyn Schofield Stakes after his the retirement of the great man during the week.
Beautiful.
Jeez.
Here he is. Red Resistance making all. Look at him. In the yellow. Nice little pony, this one, and that's King's Gambit trying to mow him down.
Yeah, he's just pretty straightforward, this horse, isn't he? And the stable's very straightforward. He's had a trial where he's gone like an absolute rocket ship since. Whatever beats this horse. These races can be tricky because you have to try and work out who's trying, who's trying to peak in a couple of weeks, and I don't think it matters to this stable or this horse. They've got a Russian Revolution colt.
Have a look at this Cafe Millennium. We'll roll the replay here, and then you can really let down on the race.
Talking.
Have a look at this thing. It's out the back, black and white sleeves with a bit
Looks
of red.
like DK just like untapped, look at him gangly, just down the outside.
It looks like a giraffe.
What price
with
do you
a
want
rocket,
to take there?
A rocket
50s?
shoved up his bum.
100s?
Which one is it?
Down the outside.
down the outside. Have you seen this?
Right down the outside here.
Oh,
Geez, a big horse. Big horse, good horse, nice horse. Look at this DK.
This is the horse that voted to have the races at Randwick this week, not Rose Hill.
Yeah, well, they've said they'd probably won't run in the slipper because they don't know if he'll even get around Rose Hill.
Well,
So-
he needed a steering wheel and a turn on the corner there, didn't he?
He did. But Big Nash goes aboard, suit this horse, no doubt. 5 Horse Field will suit this horse. Red Resist will be up in front, deserves to be favourite, has to be favourite. Cylinder sitting outside it. And it was funny, like the prices came out yesterday, it was like $4. I was like, well, that's just insanity. Now it's $3, it's been backed in. I'm like, oh my God. Red Resistance gets its own way in front, probably win. If not, that big sucker will be winding up down the outside like a Clydesdale. And holy crap, if it's not in front at the line, it'll be in front 50 past the post. I think that's the only way that this one of the two of them will win. I can't understand why Cylinders is so short in this race, but I think Red Resistance will probably win and probably start favouring the slipper.
Yeah, I can't really add any more to that. I reckon I'm just fascinated to see what the big giraffe, the rocket giraffe, does. Cafe Millennium.
Definitely the most interesting race on the day because if it rounds these horses up, it'll come into like $1.50, and not in the slipper, in the size and champagne. It'll be like seriously short if it beats these horses. Any
comments down in Melbourne, or we just keep running?
No, I don't have much there. I kind of agree with Walt. If he wins this, he's probably favourite for the slipper, and he's got all the. He does have Rose Hill form, so he's got to bring that to Randwick, I suppose. But and it can be a race where they get. I think Stay Inside got rolled in this race by Animo. I'm pretty sure. And then
what about that?
Far out, Nico.
Obviously, he doesn't like Cylinder as a horse, because otherwise he would have dived straight into it. But he somehow got Animo into the conversation.
I think Capital's got rolled in this race.
Oh, they did. Oh, absolutely. This is the old.
This isn't a race you want to be piled into.
The old back off them before the grand final.
Yeah, exactly.
Littered.
Neither. Gay doesn't back off. She drops the hammer.
Attack.
She drops the hammer.
Oh, Snowden's the old grand final trainers and all. This race was littered for years with odds-on chances going over in it.
Yeah.
The worry for the slipper is probably in the fillies division. $1.65 learning to fly. It could be the one that they've backed off a bit.
Yeah.
Well, we haven't got there yet. So
we'll go there now.
Sit that down.
Race 3, Reisling Stakes, $1.65 learning to fly, in from $1.85. Kundalini, $4.40. Facile on the back
sure
up
you get that
5.
right.
Yeah, I know. I could really stuff that one up, but lucky I've had a shave. Facile, $5.50. Mathkura, $9.50. Cigar Flick, $16.
I'm pretty sure I'm not big on how to pronounce it, but if that's Mathkura, I'll give it away. If that's how you pronounce it, if it's Mathkura,
Nico's the best at it. How do you say it, Nico?
No comment.
It'd be something like Matakura or something. It won't be Mathkura. I'm just putting it out there.
We'll organise a free bet or a prize from TopSport for anyone that tells us what a Mathkura is. Camellia and Cigar Flick round out the market, $16 and $2.01. Let's start to unpick a couple of these. The trial of this horse, Mathkura, Mahashaja.
So just the one trial.
Straight to the front.
Straight to the front. Big, strong-looking thing. Most impressive things late in the trial is just pricks its ears and does it all very easy, very comfortable. And as Nico alluded to, this is not a grand final for learning to fly. It's already won the Ferrari for Annabelle. Not as big an issue for fillies to remain unbeaten, that's for sure. So they definitely are more worried about 2 weeks' time. Did hear they backed off the horse a little bit and gave it a few days off after last start, which is, not unusual. But, very, very easy to see that they're going to just settle off speed here. And if they win, they win. If they don't, they don't. I'm not saying in any style they'll be trying for their life. But this is the day to take on Learning to Fly if you ever want to take her on.
Repo for Seal.
Yep. Yeah, I thought that trial was really good. That horse was very interesting. And Facile here, this is backing up. So this is the horse that's hard fit naturally. So there's no back off in this preparation at all. So 3 wide outside the speed, which is obviously not easy to do, especially for a 2-year-old. You've got a couple of really nice horses coming up outside it. So that's Blank to Blank and what is the other thing? I can't remember what it's called. It's got a weird name.
Lazago.
Yep. Lazago comes up wider. So it was the one that was ridden back off the speed, had the cold sit and got over the top. And you can see he's still kicking on the inside there. He's not stopping at all. Don't worry about the Snowden thing that was closing off. It was flattered. And Fasol I think it was clearly the best run in that race. Lob's here. Probably if it finds the front, if Kundalini allows it to, it's the horse to beat for mine for Sile. If it sits outside leader again, probably a little bit more vulnerable. But if it crosses Kundalini early, very, very hard to beat for Sile. And I just thought this Matakura or whatever you want to call it is just a very interesting horse in the race. Out of Moss Fun. There we go. Can we go? Was there a blue horse that raced against Moss Fun in its time? You can remember, Nico? You want to mention? Or
I don't reckon the blue existed in here in Australia when Moss Fun was running. I reckon they were still Darley.
We've got to get him a hat. We've got to get him.
If you've got that, that's too good. That's too good. But no, in all seriousness, I think Learning to Fly is short for the exact reasons also Nico brought up. This is the week to take it on if you want to. I'm not a huge Kundalini fan. It's a solid horse, but I think Facile is just by preparation. It's just had a perfect gone 11, 12, 7-day backup, hard fit. It's going to put in a career best effort on Saturday if it lines up. Gerald won't line it up unless it's ready to go. And the bottom one for me is the dead set wild card in the race. Both the 2 rods are great races considering they're tiny fields.
DK, have you seen this horse Learning to Fly level out? Jeez, it's a nice looking horse. Just beautiful stride. I think 1200 is going to suit it even further. Have you even seen this Learning to Fly go round?
No, I haven't. No,
the look on his face didn't suggest yet.
First I've heard.
Did they boot it? Warwickville in a maiden, didn't it?
Annabelle.
Oh, sorry, no. Huh?
Annabelle.
Annabelle. Ferrari driving Annabelle.
Yeah.
That's where she got this one of the Ferrari.
Oh, this one of the Ferrari. Oh, right.
Just love the way this horse just really extends. I think it could be a moral.
Oh, well, it could be. It could be for sure. I think I'd have a favourite for the slipper. I said Red Resistance will start favourite. I would have this horse favourite for the slipper. But I think Saturday it's vulnerable.
Nah, I reckon it's a moral.
That's all right. You are a sauce man, so you just got to pile into it. When you're a Tommy Tomato man, you got to stick with what you know.
Know this bloke. He's on it at hundreds and just thinks it's the best horse he's ever seen.
He's 700 years old, mate.
He could be right.
He could be right. Yeah, once in 700 years, you're entitled to be.
Win an Everest, I reckon. This horse.
Win an Everest.
Oh, back it now for the Everest.
Well, I love the horse. I'm in the same camp, but I'm also in the camp that Chadley could be a little bit quiet here and Little Smallfield could bring it undone.
Complete moral.
Wouldn't you love J-Mac to just slide on this horse in 2 weeks? Oh,
complete moral.
Maybe that's the play. Chadley gets beat here. Impossible to sack him until he gets beat off it. He gets beat here. J-Mac just across the line goes, better look for a ride in 2 weeks, son.
No. What price are you on it then at the slippers?
I don't bet. I'm a non-gambler. I'm currently getting mentored.
By who?
I don't know.
Davo.
This bloke.
Randwick race 8 is the Guineas. This is the weaker of the 2 Guineas, I'm going to call it. Af Cabin, $2.70. Osipenko, $4. Zoo Tiger, $7. Matcha Latte, $10. Attrition, $10. Communist, $17. Lindemann, $17. Williamsburg, $20. Manzois, $34. Hollywood Hero, $41. Brycey Hayes, cut on a dime, $71. Primito, $81. Walty McWalty, let's watch a couple of replays. I'll tell you what, Chris Roots, he said that Osipenko had everything go to plan this start. Do you agree?
Yeah. In comparison to first up, when it gave it the big Craig Williams. But, how can you say that this horse doesn't have more improvement than Av Cabin? That's the thing. I understand that you reverse the runs, you probably reverse the results on Saturday. But, again, this horse draws 4 on Saturday and the other one draws 10. And the map doesn't look any better for Af Cabin here than it was there. I know he slipped out of the gates on on that occasion, but he's also got to run an extra 200 metres here. So I don't know how you could possibly have Osipenko not favourite over Afcabin, over a mile at Randwick. And then you've got to kind of look away from those two and see if you can find anything to improve. Machelade is obviously going to get a really nice run again, but does struggle to put a race away. So
do you reckon that I said sort of pre-show before you turned up, he's only really seen one good track and he was pretty good there. He sort of loomed up to win and maybe just conditioned.
But that's what I mean.
Out.
He's loomed to win nearly every start, hasn't he? Like he loomed to win in the spring champ. He loomed to win at Warwick Farm that day that Graham Rogerson hurdler beat it. Then he loomed to win the day that Graham Rogerson hurdler beat it again.
Smart,
and Elliptical got beat by the Graham Rogerson hurdler. And then I was in tears on both occasions. I don't agree with you that this is not a stronger race than Melbourne. I think it's deeper. I don't think there's a lot between them. I think the Melbourne race has only got three or four runners that are of decent quality, whereas this has got, quite a few that are okay. But I do think if I'm going to bracket up the Waller runners here, I'm going to bracket them up because I think Big Man Zoyce at 40s is dead set one of the best.
Let's have a look at his trial.
I've seen.
This is his trial, and he's galloped between races since, but he's in the blue jacket with the pink. Oh, surprise, surprise! Who's on it? Your love child, Tim Clark.
Yeah, well, I backed it all in when he wasn't on it. When they scratched it from the first leg, or was it? Well, I don't think it was the Hobart Bill, was it? When they didn't accept. I've wondered what's going on here, and I do have to admit that I did ask the question: is this horse alive? Because it just seemed weird that they sort of held it back. I thought it was well suited in that weight for age race that they scratched or didn't accept in. Then obviously missed the Hobartville lead up as well, and they've gone in here fresh. But no, apparently it's definitely well and truly alive, and there is a case to say that there's quite a few that could push forward for on-pace positions here.
This won't. It's got barrier 14.
No, this will be last, and that's what I mean.
Yeah, neck.
So if they all push forward, he's the forgotten horse for mine. It's absolutely no worry, mile first up for this horse. If he's been ticking along at home, Waller can definitely pull that off, and he can pull me off if this horse wins at 40s because I will be very happy. I just think it's just a silly price for in a race where you can make a case for the ambulance to win because there's not a lot of strong-looking milers. I think he sends Lindemann to the front. Lindemann rolls along. It's not hopeless at 20-1. Even it's sort of coming from left field. Its win the other day was really good, sustained speed. Maybe, the case for me is that there's not too many strong milers that are sitting sort of behind it. Your Zoo Tigers and this, they'll probably the mile see them out. So I think Osipenko gets a nice run. We saw what it can do over a mile in the whatever that race was where it was destroyed. Timmy destroyed it that day, didn't he, down in Melbourne? It wasn't really his fault. We'll give him a pass, even though DK would probably hang him up and say Bleashin would have 1B3 on it. Yeah, I think Osipenko will run a strong mile. It has to be favourite, and Man's Voice is just a smoky out the back. I could nearly bracket up the three Waller runners. Even Lindemann at 20s is one I could spec. So I'm Team Waller.
Well, I think they're just going to pour it on and see if J-Mac jumps off and carries Afcabin home for the last 200 metres. That's the only way he's going to run a mile.
If you were doing the tactics for Waller here, weren't you? And we're not saying that there's any such thing as team riding because that's just not allowed.
A saddle might
But
slip.
if you put in a change of tactics.
Cot.
If you put in a cot, if you put him in the cot, you're allowed to do pretty much whatever you want. But I think Lindemann rolling along suits Lindemann. I think it suits Osipenko, and I definitely think it suits Man's Voice. And it may not be the greatest thing in the world for the favourite other than busting him up a bit early and maybe allowing it to sort of get in closer to the rail for sure. But, I think if I was Waller, that's the way I'd be playing it. And I think all three of them in the race.
Nico, Afcabin, tell us why we're wrong.
I don't know if you're wrong. I think he's the best horse in the race. It's just whether this is the perfect setup for him off last start. Not too sure, but I think of all the evidence we have seen, I do think he is a better horse than Osipenko. Like, he smashed Amenable in the Caulfield Guineas Prelude. He smashed Osipenko as well, but we can forgive him for having an off day. Amenable crosses the line with Osipenko on the Guineas when they both have every chance. The first up win was dominant. I think last start they just got it wrong going forward. I think he's probably a much better horse sitting off the speed. Look at his two defeats in this kind of company have come to Osipenko and Jacquino. So I don't think that's sort of holding him back too much. It's just whether he's looking for 1,600 metres. That's probably the knock. Can Class get him over the line? I think so. do you want to back him at, what is he, 270 or 280 or something?
I reckon you'll get
probably.
like closer to $4.
Yeah, you couldn't back him at 270. Market's probably going to have a good look at Osipenko and sort of Zoo Tiger, you would have thought. But at the end of the day, I think he's the best horse in the race. And you look at his win in that Guineas Prelude, the run in the McNeil, that win at Sounddown, like the win at Sounddown and the Guineas Prelude are both 1,400, and he's absolutely pulling away from them late. Like, he's just annihilated them. So I think he's a bit like Jacquino. Like, he's sort of, there is a slight question mark at the mile, but his runs at 1,400 prior to last start would suggest he'd run it. And maybe last start was just an off day. Forgive it. Trust the SP. J-Mac gets back aboard, which I like TC, but that's got to be a tick. J-Mac getting back aboard the horse, given he probably knows it better.
See how he just lubed me up before he jammed me there, DK? That's what we like. We like that. We don't just like the full jamming. At least he just sort of, that was all right.
Get the Vaseline out first.
That's right.
Nico. Af Cabin, those wins that you speak of, Sandown, the McNeil, the Guineas Prelude, they're soft 5, heavy 8. They're all rain affected decks. This horse might just jar up on the good 4, or
I don't know. What was first up? That was a good 4, and he killed him. So I don't think that theory has that much merit.
Well, did you see what Nash did on Osipenko first up?
Stewards did.
He did a King's Gambit on it.
Yeah, but what about the day he flogged him in the Guineas Prelude? Like, absolutely killed him. He's got the SPs over him every single time they've met.
He was first up and didn't finish the course.
215, 220, $1.60. Market says he's a better horse. I think he is a better horse. It's just whether sad day is his day.
All right, Nico, here you go. If Af Cabin wins, I'll buy you head to toe Godolphin tracksuit, cap, the whole box and dice, and I'll post it, and I'll get someone to hand deliver it.
I don't know where I'd wear it. I wouldn't want to wear
on the
it
show.
to the
I
races.
want you to wear it here on the show.
I wouldn't want to wear it to the races. Where are you going to wear it?
I don't know. I don't want to sort of be mistaken for, I don't know.
Team Blue.
Team Blue.
I'll get you a James Cummings straw hat to go with it. Whatever those things are that he keeps producing.
If you don't want to wear it, I'll get you a Godolphin Duna cover with matching pillowcases, all Godolphin blue with the Godolphin logos on it. You just let me know if you're a queen or a king size bed, and I'll get this custom made. If Af Cabin, it will not win.
I'll take it.
Will you use it?
There's nothing to lose for me, so I'll take the bet.
It just shortened up in the market as soon as those words came out of his mouth. So, yeah.
That'll be a challenge.
Good
anyway.
race. They're good races.
Might be an angle. Might be able to make custom.
Can I ask,
What about Walt? They're all going to the pretty much. They'll all go to the Doncaster with no weight. The three of them, at least.
Yeah. Well, if Af Cabin runs the mile out, it probably will for sure.
Yeah. Well, it depends how they they go here, but that's listening to all the trainers. They all O'Shea, Waller, and the Maestro said all very appealing to get into that Doncaster with a lightweight.
Trying to work out, there's not much around for a Doncaster, I wouldn't imagine. I haven't looked at the early betting. Only a genius that was well prepared would do something like that. But it's certainly, if any of these are strong down in the weights in a Doncaster, they'll be dangerous, because even though we've sort of said that it's not a super strong year, there's not much around. There's not much around in the older brigade either. So, they'd definitely be a couple of dangerous. Even Matchalate, I think they're the ones. And geez, his horse is going well, Mark Noonan. Holy crap.
Yeah, running through brick walls, aren't they? Nico, quick one. Challenge Stakes, just because it's not a quaddie leg, so I'm going to talk about it anyway. Giga Kicks Cranbourne Trial. Is he back? Wrinkles up there to ride.
What about the other one? The other one in that race?
What?
The fast
one. I'm just
one.
asking Nick.
Yeah, no, I
Nick
want to
for
ask
insight.
about both. The fast one as well.
Barrier Trial. How was Giga Kick? Is he back?
I think off his trials and jump outs, he might need the run. I thought he could have trialled a bit better at Cranbourne. I thought his bow and airing jump out. It's a weird course, bow and airing. Like, it's a picnic track. So, but I didn't think it was sensational. I don't know if I'd want to be diving into 240. Yeah, passive aggressive jumped out super.
Yeah.
All reports that she's come back better. 12 into 7.
Perfect draw for it. Absolutely perfect draw.
She is probably a slight knock if it's really firm. They've sort of said she might be better on wet ground. Palali's got to be in the race. Remark ran huge first up. I would say there is some vulnerability to Giga Kick first up.
Would you say it's a big case that the Wrinkles coming back going, wow, guys, this horse is flying. Today just wasn't our day, but, I'm telling you, wherever this goes from here, it's just going to improve out of sight.
And even looking at him sort of last prep, like first up at Flemington, and then they backed off him, and then when he beat Spacewalk that day, did he? Or
Buenos Noches.
He beat. Even between runs there, like he was sort of only, 85% fit. So I think they've got a good base to know, we can have him at this fitness level and win and improve off that. I doubt he's fully cranked up for Saturday, and he's just probably going to improve a lot going to the TJ. Don't know if I could bet in the race, but sort of 240 wouldn't get me.
And he's a bloody good horse, but he doesn't look 1,000-metre horse. There's he doesn't look a specialist. He can definitely win. Don't get me wrong. He's a freak, but that fast thing drawn wide's going to be well in front of it in the run. The passive aggressive, named after DK.
Beautiful stuff. I know you're in the eye, Nico. You're all over it. And Walt, if you want more of Walt's madness and analysis, racingwatch.com.au, Telegram if you want the tips only, and then Discord if you want to hang out with all the crazies. What were you going to say?
Nah, it's all right. It's all right. It's just we've gone too far.
What's wrong?
No, I think there's one. I think Nico could ride this and win on Saturday.
Which one?
Youth Spirit.
That's a horse that we liked
It's in
last
Melbourne.
time.
It's in Melbourne. I forgot to ask him when he was doing his Melbourne.
No, I nearly tipped you Spirit on the show. So I was
Ooh.
close. It's between him and Timor. Timor gets car and could go forward, but it's one race from 15 starts. It might be half a cat. I don't know, but Youth Spirit's definitely overs at like 550. You couldn't back the favourite, so I'd be backing him or Timor to beat the favourite. So
If Carr was on Youth Spirit, I'd be mortgaging up. I just worried
press.
that D. Oliver might go a little bit slow on Youth Spirit. And
I don't think you'll find the lead though. There's a lot of speed in that race. Like
That's probably
I wouldn't
good.
be shocked if he's one out, one back, and just having to work into it than him controlling the tempo. It's probably a tick for that horse. I think Oliver's not a bad rider for him. Looks like a bit of a grinder. Like he might.
that's
get
what
a
I'm
lot out
worried
of
that
him in the straight.
I just am worried that he'll wait too long. I'd rather it get butchered than be ridden cute.
Set it a lot. Is that the tactics?
Well, I'd rather that. Yeah, I'd rather it because I agree with you. I think he's just a grinder that's coming out of better form races potentially, and he's I think 2,500 has said the stables just they're training at about 120% the last. I think they've 14 from their last 12 or something. They are or something saying.
And I've been told I got to back off Ollie a bit. He's the goat. He's the goat. He's the greatest of all time. And if you're against
I'm not
Ollie,
into
you're
it.
meant to be taking up marbles. So I could be in for a big marble career.
I am. I
We
was
both
all
could
right
be.
at
We could
marbles
be on the
back in the
marble
day. I don't know
tour.
where they are. I'm going to dig them up. Let's have a game.
Don's best. Let's see what Donnie likes this weekend.
G'day, gents. I'm back this week again for Donny's best bets. Tough week last week, bit of a strip out, none from two. They both were off the map. Didn't salute though. We can make it better this week. We've got two nice bets coming up, one on Friday, one on Saturday. We'll start with the best bet. That's at Saturday at Eagle Farm in race 7, number 7, Deepaw. He's from the hot stable, Adam Campton. He's absolutely flying. Anything he sells up bolts in. This horse has got an incredible turn of foot. 1,200 at Eagle Farm will suit perfectly. 1,200 at Todman last start. It got held up for most of the straight, got out very late and absolutely stormed home. It's a gun horse, ex-Peter Snowden. It should go very close here. So around the $4.40 mark currently with TopSport. I think it's a great bet. That's the best. On Friday at Newcastle, race 5, number 8, 4 for Cindy. It's first up in its second preparation. Its first start, last prep. It really closed off nicely over 1,200 metres at Newcastle. This week it's 1,400 metres, which suits much better. Abdullah on the big Newcastle straight will help. I think it's a nice, talented horse, and I think it can win. It's around the $4 mark as well. So the two bets this weekend are Eagle Farm on Saturday, race 7, number 7, Deepaw, and on Friday at Newcastle, race 5, number 8, 4 for Cindy. Good luck, gents.
Outstanding. And Campo, he's doing a great job, Adam Campton. He was on our show a while ago, wasn't he? We've had him on the show. Jack Bruce had him on the show, both airborne.
Campton was on the show.
Yeah, he did a little interview. Adam
I must have
Campton.
been away.
Yeah, he must have been away that day. But yeah, Campo's been on the show, Jack Bruce, and they're just controlling racing up here. So they're doing a great job. So race 7, number 7, Deepaw, and then 4 for Sydney Friday, Newcastle on that the stakes day, that weird little meeting. So
He had a horse last Monday or something. Where was it? Get Grafton or Coffs or something. Debut, hallowed crown thing. Don't know the name of it, but it'll win plenty of races. Adam Campton won its first start and what was a heavy track. I agree. He's doing a good job.
outstanding. So just jump into Racing Australia. You can search the trainer, and then you'll go find what horse Walt's talking about.
I'm still trying to work out what a Matakura is, or a Mathkura, or
It's a
a
Kookaburra.
Mathsolver. Is it?
Type of Kookaburra.
Are you sure?
No, I don't know.
Jesus.
That's the
It
only
is
thing
now.
I could think of. It's either a curry or a Kookaburra.
Okay.
It's probably a Kookaburra curry. You allowed to do that?
Yep.
The greenies will
Yep.
ride
DK's
in.
had that.
Kangaroo curry. Top Sport Steamers, no love. Wanga went really good last week. That was an early bet. This week we've got race 6, number 15, Opal Ridge, 600 at 650 in this Inglis Magical Newmarket Sprint. Goes all right when it's on song, this horse. Nico, you done the race?
Yeah, well, it started favourite against Pericles last start and beat him, so that form looks pretty good. I have done the race. I think she deserves favouritism. It's just first start down the straight. She did trial very well, but Bishin's a tick. I don't know. Great race.
That's a quaddie leg.
Yeah, and he's not. I thought that trainer would fly up once he's moved to Scone, and he's not been going that well. But this horse is certainly his flagship horse, so be interesting.
My advice in that quaddie leg is to go very, very, very wide in that one. Anything could win that one. Next bet on the screen. We've got race 9, number 1, Pinstripe 500 at 11. Nico. Tough one, this.
A lot of people interviewing this horse. Trav's all over it. Benny Asghari was giving it a big tip, so I think he's already been well backed. So sort of, well, you probably wouldn't mind this bet to win sort of 5, but I think there's a lot of market support early, and I wouldn't be shocked if he started shorter than sort of the $9 he's at the moment. He jumped out well. I think some people are putting a bit of mayo in his jump outs, to be honest, and 1,200 first up will be a bit of a task, but you only got to go back 12 months. He should have bolted in the Australian Guineas, so he's got the talent. It's just whether first up over 1,200 metres is his suitable setup.
Interesting. Celine Gaudray gets a ride. She's starting to get a few more rides, and I thought she was a bit cheeky after Lord Paramount won yesterday. They asked her, how do you reckon the track was? I think she led most of the way on that horse, and she go, oh, yeah, it's playing fair. I think she was just taking the piss out of him, so she's got a bit of a sense of humour.
I like that. I like it. She's gone up in my estimations.
Yeah. Has she turned the corner?
She's I'll tell you something. I don't know. Did she smile? Like she's from what I've seen, she's like the Ryan Moore of the female Australian jockey ranks.
Oh.
She's tough and hard, and I saw they got her on an interview on racing.com, just short, sharp answers, and she seems she just plays very straight bat, Celine. So
good mates with Jamie Carr, I think.
Well,
very good mate.
Isn't she starring in a Drive to 6 or whatever? Like
who? Celine?
No,
Jay
Jamie
Carr.
Carr. Isn't it like from what I've seen?
When
they're
did
going
they
to
start?
struggle to extract that out of her, won't they?
Yeah, I think Entain are making it like a.
Oh, is it
like a
Ladbrokes doing it?
series? Yeah, I think it's a series leading into the All-Star Mile. So then it might come out sort of next. It'd take a while to edit that kind of stuff, I'd imagine.
Yeah,
they've been at the races the last few weeks. It makes sense now. Seeing all these camera crews out and about, and now they've sort of said that they're making something like that. I think it'll be good. It'll be good. I think I'm Thunderstruck, Tavolu, and Jamie Carr. They're all following into the All-Star Mile, and they're following Zaki as well. So I think Zaki's out for the autumn.
That's worked out beautifully.
So they're going to have a lot of different storylines there.
Who could have seen that going wrong?
Anyway, it's hard, isn't it? Like, who are you going to follow? Can't keep following Nature Strip for 20 years, can you? Well, we don't have any. What have we got?
We've got Jacquino. Futures bet here. Jacquino, 2,000 at $4, 2,000 at $3.50. You could put it through the mincer, or you could just bet around a couple of others to try and square it off there and pray that they go slow, and then bang, his turn off foot just goes bang.
I did laugh seeing you said the quarantine guy from Canterbury yesterday. They interviewed him, and he's like, it's great to see
Rossi.
the Japanese horses back. We've got this horse out who's a very classy horse. It's competed very well. It's won Group 3s over there, and it's coming out for our premium $5 million weight for age race. I'm not saying the horse is bad. It'll probably come out and lap them. I hope it does, but it just shows their contempt for us. Like, they don't even bother sending out any of their top level horses to crush ours. Did
you see that mare Gay Bot got? Alcohol free, is it?
Yeah.
They paid $10 million for it.
$10 million, and they bought that other. Yeah, they bought a couple, but it's the crazy one. But Ado was definitely glowing about his report of seeing the horse. But I suppose for $10 million, you want to be getting something decent. But it'll be interesting to see what they do with it.
All right, we haven't done the quaddie numbers, but we'll put a poll up. Do you want our quaddie numbers for next week's show? Or we'll try and get a little bit more feedback. So fire in. It's a beautiful deep card at Flemington. Absolutely horned up deluxe for that one. Join the Little Birdie Syndicate if you want some extra mail there, or jump into one of the boys' subs. And again, Randwick looks absolutely sensational as well. So get more of Walty stuff, and there'll be just betting galore.
Next week's show, we might need a preview from DK. A little maiden somewhere.
Yeah, little treat.
All right, hopefully.
What's he got?
Wodonga or somewhere like that on.
Oh, Kilmore, Pakenham.
No, pass.
Bendigo Thursday, but I don't know if the show would be turned around in time.
Won't be in time. We need Friday, Saturday or Sunday.
It's on the cut. Oh, maybe Saturday, Edenhope.
Edenhope. Oh, yeah.
Some scraps for us, DK. All right. So you're not on the piss this week, DK? Nothing?
Ed Sheeran tonight with 100,000 of my nearest and dearest at the MCG. Huge.
Who's going?
100,000 a night.
Your missus?
Kids, taking the kids.
No way.
Kids, Ed Sheeran. So 100,000 a night, 107,000 there tomorrow night, fully sold out. So he's biggest stadium show ever. So it's going to be something to see there tonight.
Couldn't think of anything
looking forward to
worse.
that.
Has he? When was it?
There he goes.
When was the last song he put out? 10 years ago. He's flying Ed Sheeran, isn't he?
No, he's very good, and very good bloke.
He's got red
He could be
hair. How could he
related
not
to
be?
us. He's related to us.
He's part of the clan.
No, that'd be outstanding. In all seriousness, DK, but missus and kids, don't know about that. It's a big job to steer them around 100,000 people. So hats off to you. But it should
207,000
be a
people
beauty.
back to back. It's not like
No,
that.
it's all seated. It's like going to the
Seated,
footy.
like Elton John seated.
No, I'm just trying to work out how much cash he's making. I'm not worried about
A
getting
lot.
in and out of the joint. He's it's not like it's the Everest where everyone gets in for free either. Like, Jesus Christ.
DK be limo or chopper in.
Oh, why wouldn't he? Oh,
Huh?
yeah.
The rattler, catching the rattler in. Catching the rattler.
Backstage passes, DK.
No, none of them.
No meet and greet?
Should have brought me with you. I could have just snuck him back. They would have just thought it was me. I would have grown a beard for a week.
Okay, good luck. All right, good luck on the weekend. We've been told to get off. Goodbye.